Alright guys, so I've got a update on this total pile of crap. Got the valve cover on here. Fits pretty good, even came with new bolts, pretty happy with that. Still got to change the back one, still got to pull this lower intake off. I got to clean up all the RTV that I put on there because I'm an asshole and don't use gaskets, but I got all new Velcro gaskets. I think I said that in the last video. So I'm going to slap those in there. I'm not going to pull the fuel rail or anything off, I'm just going to zoink that out. And yeah, actually wait, I am going to have to pull the fuel rail to get those bolts out. That sucks. I mean, I could probably work around it with a swivel, but I'll just pull them out anyway. Got a lot of new stuff though going on. I got new dipstick and the fuse block with the new thingamajig there. I got this thing from Dorman. Got it off Rock Auto obviously, but got that. It's a Dorman, so I'm gonna swap that out. Just have to unplug that stuff. Got a whole bunch of parts chilling in here. Got all new connectors for all of the injectors. So there you can see that, brand new. So those are gonna replace those guys right there. They'll just chop all that garbage off. You can see it's frayed on pretty well all of these wires here. So got new connectors and I'm gonna sauce those on there and hopefully that'll fix that problem. I also got the oil pressure sensor harness because I don't know if I broke it when I pulled the motor or what happened, but anyway, bought that too. I don't know what that is. Oil cooler seal. If you own a VQ, you should just have those. These are just fuel line clamps. I needed them just for the fuel line that I still need to change. Got a brake caliper shown in there, so sauce a brake caliper on here. After everything's done, I'm gonna have to pull it out, paint that caliper, and then bring it back in here, swap the caliper, bleed it, and then we're good to go. Got the radiator here. As you can see, I actually finished polishing it. Looks a little bit better. It's not great, but hey, you know, look, we got orange peel all over the wheels, so who cares? Got brand new rad fans because I got overspray all over everything, as you can see on the rad hose here. I was gonna get a new rad hose, but again, I'm an asshole. I'm gonna have to wash everything, but good enough. I ordered new subs to go into the trunk. I got a new sub box as well, so I'm gonna give that box to my brother. He's gonna have to get a couple new 12s for it. This box has seen better days for sure, but we might see if we can fix on it a little bit and grab a couple 12s for it. I think, yeah, this one is brand new and it actually blew up during the break-in, so it's cooked, and that was cooked too. So yeah, pretty junk. Don't try to run. I think I only put maybe 300-400 watts RMS to it. That's probably all it's rated for, if that. But I finally got my energy bracket. I don't know if it was supposed to come with an extension for the harness for the steering wheel control or not, but I'm hoping that the steering wheel control wire is going to be long enough to actually reach. But there's the bracket there. It's actually a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. I'm also hoping that the bolts are going to be long enough to go through the wheel, through that, and into the hub. Yeah, I don't know. Guess I'm going to find out on that. Not much has changed in here. Just the same. The door speakers are in, and yeah, I got to continue with that. But pretty well ready to put this in. I was just waiting on some connectors because the clip for the AC compressor clutch right there, obviously I got a new one on there, but the problem is the wire came off the connector on this one. Seems to be a common theme on this car. But yeah, now I'm gonna have to put a new connector onto that and a new connector onto this, because if I just put a connector on here, it's not going to clip in because they don't match. So I got to get the male and the female. That's right, only 2 of them. And then they'll plug into each other and we're good to go. So I have all that stuff here. Kind of sucks because I have to like actually do all the, like, put the pin in and the seal and all that baloney. But whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, besides that, I gotta get the AC lines in here too. I've got all brand new AC lines. They're all right there. Got everything. So like new evaporator, new condenser, new compressor, all the lines, the expansion valve, like the whole works. I've got the PEG oil chilling somewhere, so once this thing's all done, I'm gonna get the exhaust on tomorrow. Like I'm gonna fire everything on tomorrow. It's kind of my plan. But once I get all that crap on there, should be good. And then once it's all on, I'll be able to fire it up. And once I get it fired up and set back down onto the ground, then I'm going to go ahead and hook up the vacuum pump onto it there. And like, I'll have to shut it off, but hook the vacuum pump up, and maybe I'll make a video on that, on how I do that. I have the evac and recharge. Obviously, there's nothing in the system, so it's not like I'm, you know, breaking the law. So I'll show you how I fill it. It might not be the right way, but I just use the Freon cans from Canadian Tire or Walmart or whatever is cheap, and that's just how I do it. So do a thing on that. Besides that, I just gotta change that back valve cover, get this plenum off, change the gasket, and get it all fired back together. I gotta change the knock sensor into there. I got one on the table over there. So once I change the knock sensor, then I can throw that back on with the new gaskets, start putting the rest of the intake on, and then I can start putting the battery tray in, get the battery in, start getting all that stuff in. I can work my way to the inside. I've still got to run a power wire for the 4-channel amp, so I've already got the wire ran for the subwoofer. It's around here somewhere. Not quite sure. There it is. So that's right there. So I got fuse blocks in the back. I'm gonna have to put a new fuse block on it, but well, a new fuse block and then the connector going to the battery. But we'll grab that. And then I just got to run a wire for the 4-channel, and then I've got to run, that's the only thing going from there to there, and then I just have to run all of the RCAs and the amp turn on signal wire. I'll fire all that from there to there, and then once all the wires are here in the back, then I just got to unhook the Bose amp under there, pull all that stuff out, and then find my speaker wires that are actually going to the doors. Forget about the wires that are going from the stereo to the amp. Those are no more, because I'm going to use RCA. And then I just got to hook my speaker wires that go from the amp to the speakers into my amp, and that's it. Plug the sub in, tune the stereo, and that's that. Still got to wrap this stuff. May end up doing that later on when I do the brakes. Alright, what's going on, guys? So I've made more progress on the Altima here. I've got the radiator slapped in for now, as you can see. I went ahead and wired a new connector on for that AC compressor clutch. We've got three new spark plugs in there. I've got iDiridium NGK plugs, just the stock 44 gap. Or actually, it might be a little colder, I forget. Anyway, bear with me, I'm just getting over a cold here, so kind of plugged up. Got these Amazon coil packs, and they're probably going to explode, but it's okay. Got the rat hoses on, so I'm actually ready to go ahead and drop coolant into this thing. I've just got to get the overflow tank put on. But once I get the overflow tank on, I'm ready to go. I can fill it with coolant because I've got all my heater hoses and all that stuff done. Just working on pulling the fuel rail right now, and then I'm going to wire all 6 injectors and put new plugs on them. And I'm going to clean up the lower intake for like the 4th time now. I'm going to put gaskets in on both sides instead of RTV, and then gasket right here. And then I got to put the plenum on, and the plenum I'm going to have to RTV because I have a plenum spacer, and the stock gasket, the middle piece, will just be flopping around in there, and yeah. And then one side wouldn't have a gasket, so RTV on the top part, and the rest of it I'm going to use actual gaskets because it's a pain in the ass to get this stuff apart when you have RTV. I also got to change this rear valve cover. But I gotta get this off, get the rails off, get this off, set it all to the side, get down there, change the knock sensor, and then once that's done, then I'm gonna start putting it back together. I think that's pretty well it. I got a couple things I gotta tighten up underneath, and I'm gonna lower the car down, and then I'm gonna drain the transmission fluid while I'm doing the rest of this stuff. And then I can shut that and fill it up with tranny fluid. As you can see, I've got the battery tray in here. I've actually gone ahead and put on my own ground. This is like a 1 gauge wire. I was gonna do 0 gauge, but they wanted like $40 for it. And I was like, yeah, no. So I got a Dorman fuse block and the battery terminal. There was nothing wrong with mine. I've put this much in, you know what I mean? I got a new dipstick too. Like I just didn't want to deal with that stuff. Like the old ones were just grungy. So I've got brand new battery terminals. Everything's got, what do you call it? Dielectric grease on it. So hopefully nothing corrodes or anything like that. Kind of missed out on winter anyway. So what does it matter, right? Yeah. So once I get that stuff fired on, like I get this lowered and I fire on all that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and start getting the AC lines and all that stuff done. Just basically get everything in the engine bay done and leave it to just having to do what's inside the car. So the only thing I really need to do now is run my wires for the amp before I get like everything too buttoned up. I got to run 1 wire for the amp to the back for that 4-channel. And I mean, we're moving along pretty good. Like clutch is bled. Working on putting coolant in it now. The whole front end and all that stuff is all put together, like all the axles. We got new axle boots down in there, as you can see. The whole thing is all done. New sway bar end lengths, new axle boots. Got a little bit of welding to do on the subframe over there, as you can see. We got a bit of a rust hole. It's not a big deal. We'll deal with that. I gotta do that before I put the exhaust back on, but big deal.